Okay, the Solheim derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strut work. You watch it in horror and fascination as Seraphine completed her approach. Kofi is silent in the presence of this decaying beast. Now, as you settle beside it, Seraphine is the first to break the silence. This thing is already dead, he shakes his head. It's a corpse sleeper. He nudges the ship closer, looking for a place to dock. Touch this thing too hard, it will crumble into dust. What were you expecting? I was expecting... Seraphine squints as he adjusts the rig's thrust. A scrap contract, like you said, not a death trap. Take us up there, that's the bridge. Juni points towards one end of the ship and both you and Seraphine turn around, having forgotten she was even in the cockpit. He hasn't said a word since you departed. She glances at both of your bemused faces. What? She looks away. Sorry. I guess that's where we need to go. She stops pointing. Seraphine nods towards Juni. She's not wrong, Sleeper. The bridge would be a good start. To the bridge then. Seraphine nods and brings the ship under control. Let's do it. Seraphine takes control of the ship, avoiding the debris field closer to the center of the wreck. He settles in position near a protrusion at the far end. This is as far as I'll go. Seraphine taps at the anchoring controls. We should be able to anchor the ship to those plates. You hear Juni begin to protest from the behind you, but it's too late. Seraphine fires 2 python-tipped anchor lines at the nearest solid hull plates. Hit them slam into the plates and, despite their solid appearance, they instantly shatter. The fragments spin out across the wreck, slicing into other plates and building a spiraling storm of debris. Shit! Seraphine nudges the ship back and steadies it as the debris cascades across the surface of the wreck. The damage seems mostly superficial, but it underlines just how fragile the derelict is. Let's not do that again, Juni glances between the two of you. The data core will be very fragile. We have to. You got it, Seraphine snaps. He angrily unclips from his seat. The last thing I need is a backseat driver. He kicks off and glides past her into the corridor. Sorry, Juni. No problem. She smiles a weak smile. You all want the same thing here, right? We'll work it out. He follows Seraphine down the passage with Juni close behind. As he reaches the airlock, he is already angrily suiting up, his frustration evident. Keep it cool. Seraphine looks up. Yeah. He glances at Juni. No hard feelings, right? He shakes the seals on his shoulders. But this is a job, not a social event. The rest of the preparation process takes place in intense silence, each of you considering the delicate job ahead. You suit up too, though you don't need a helmet to breathe. You slide one on and lock the seals for protection. This wreck isn't going to give up its salvage easily. The core should be near the bridge, maybe even inside it, but there is a lot of wreck here, and there might be good salvage tucked away in the cargo hold. Once the suits are on and the seals are checked, you cycle the lock and stare out the vast expanse of the twisted hulk before you. Time to go to work. Okay, let's see what we have. Why does it have 2 stress already? What bullshit. Okay, you got 1 stress. No being the one only? Oh, God damn it. 25, 50. There we go. Oh, what a bullshit one. Only his works here? There's more. Hey, Orangey. This is the second one. Yeah, I finished the first one earlier today. Well, there's nothing more we can do here then, I think. Can't do anything here, so all these are just unfortunately. I mean, that gives me a 3 and we get to a 4. Well, they are kind of relaxing. Okay, I'm gonna try a push. It's kind of bad or it's both blue here and blue in the other one. If he doesn't get any good ones, then it's like, then you're like, it's screwed. She can't be used, but she has good dices. He gets like -2. Danger is not a good thing. Doing a risky. I've been okay. Spurs won their game, so it's all good. And tonight it is NFL, right? But maybe, I don't know, if you're interested in American football, any of you? Super Bowl, so to say. Is it? It starts at starts in about 2 hours. The broadcast. Ah, crap! I'm gonna have to. So you're definitely not interested then. I liked watching. It's just, for me, it's just so many breaks in it. I like to watch NHL more. I love watching hockey. But my team that I vote for is not, or cheer for, is not doing very well. But I like watching all kind of games then. Like after the stream yesterday, they showed hockey on TV here, so I was watching that game. The bridge of the lake lies silent. The pale beams of your suit lamps catch rows of terminals and clouds of glittering dust. Wires wave like seaweed, and the whole scene appears as if underwater. Chaotic, but still. Junie glides past you, disturbing the dust and taking you by surprise as she does. She has been a stoic presence so far. But in this moment, she seems drawn forward by some force of curiosity. You watch as she bats away debris and begins checking terminals. What are you doing? Junie doesn't seem to hear you, or at least he's ignoring you. He's already prying an access panel off one of the more intact looking terminals. And as she does, puffs of rust color in the vacuum around her red. Approach her. She turns back to the terminal and finishes prying off the plate. And quickly she reaches inside, fishing around for something. Hockey fight. Do you like watching boxing then? That's what you're saying. Her hand comes back out with a waving cable topped with a thick connector. As soon as she sees it, she slips a keyboard-sized deck out from somewhere on her person. She runs her hand across the back until she finds the right port and slots it in the connector. All this happens in a few seconds, the routine practiced and precise. It is hard not to be impressed. Not your first Solheim ship. She glances at you, a nervous look on her face. Does she think you're accusing her of something? She shakes her head and goes back to her work. Junie's fingers dance across the deck's keyboard and a burst of static lights up the Solheim terminal screen. The sudden burst of light and color takes you by surprise. Junie's fingers tap away in the terminal screen, flashing with blocks of color and lines of code. It buzzes and vibrates, its long dead systems forced back into chaotic life. Then all at once it goes dark, the terminal is dead. Shit, Junie hisses beneath her breath. Useless. You cannot tell if the insult is directed at the terminal or herself. What are you doing? He looks up at you as he was just waking from a dream, looking for something useful. He pauses. Useful for the contract, that is. She glances down. A map of the ship. Plans, you know. From the cradle with data core can't be far. She pushes off from the terminal, gliding away from you. I'll start looking, she calls back and heads to the other side of the bridge. Seraphine glides up beside you. Everything alright? What do you think of Junie? A kid? Seraphine shrugs. You would know better than me. Keeps to herself. He squints at her retreating form. Seraphine stretches in his suit. I have to admit, it's nice to be back working, especially now that we are the ones who will reap the benefits. He claps you on the shoulder. Feels good to be taking our fate into our own hands. I know it's pretty rough here, back on Hexport, and out here we are just as likely to get shredded by debris as find the damn data core. But aren't you glad we made a break for it? He pauses and looks down, having asked the question almost by accident. I mean, I am. I just don't want to speak for you. I'm glad to. Seraphine smiles. You better be. I didn't give up that little dark side cupboard I was living in for nothing. He laughs at his own joke. Look. Seraphine checks his suit's wrist seals. Once we got a bit of space behind us, once we got in the distance, if we even managed to get that far. He furrows his brow. Don't feel you owe me. I'm no charity case. You want us to go our separate ways? Fine by me. He meets your eyes. Just do me the favor of telling me to my face. That won't happen. Seraphine nods, but doesn't respond. After a moment, he shines his torch out into the dark, checking the rows of terminals all across the bridge. You watch the glittering dust as it eddies in the beam. Seraphine sighs. Let's get to it. You watch as he crosses the bridge, his torch probing the dark corners. You feel a chill run through your body as you imagine the people that once ran this ship. The Solheim crew, surely long dead. What was it like here before the collapse, when this system was a jewel in Solheim's crown? It's impossible to know. That history is lost to you now. All you can do is pick what you can from the ruins. New location discovered. Okay, so what's here then? Risky and dangerous. Oh. This is bus free. That's not gonna be good enough. And a +4? No. This is a +4. This is gonna be a... Yeah, that was a risky one. The problem here is danger... Oh, neutral here is not... Oh, goddamn, I can't use him. +3 is too low to do anything with. Okay, this should work here. Let's go. You can do it, buddy. What? The crisis location. What the heck now? God damn it. I shouldn't have done that. Now there's a little bit of a rush here. Oh, please work. Yeah, this is a little bit of a stress now. I need a data core and just get the heck out of here. Oh, the thing is here though. Oh, god damn it. Damn thing failed. How the god damn it, he got the shit. Well, this went badly. Okay, so we need to fix stuff now. Okay, I should have just ignored that damn thing before. she has to get the data core. What the heck, man? This is a big risk. You watch nervously as Uni guides the core out of the crater. A large bore almost half your height in diameter. It glides out of the framework, the helmet, connections waving loose and cut. Every breathing comes through the suit's comms, loud enough to be picked up, and it fills you with tense energy as you watch. Over the course of this job, you have seen Junie both focused and distracted, nervous and precise, but you have not seen her any more confident than this moment now. She floats beside the data core, handling with care and skill as if it were the vast egg of some endangered bird. She glances up and sees you watching her. You notice something unfamiliar in her eyes. Something that you have perhaps seen in a passing moment before, only now it's in no momentary lapse of change. It is set in place. You see determination. She guides the core a little away from you with one hand and at the same time comes forward, almost placing herself between you and her prize. It does seem to be hers in the way she handles it, the possessive way she screens it with her body. We need to talk. The statement comes flat and deadpan, any nervous tremble gone. Right now. What are you doing? Sleeper, she takes a deep breath. I want to be honest with you, but I need to know you won't take this from me. Junie glances around the crater defensively, but Seraphine is already heading back to the ship to prepare the cargo bay for the core storage. You two are alone. Tell me, and we will see. Fine, she folds her arms, but it's staying with me. Carson doesn't deserve this. This precious sleeper. Junie glances over his shoulder at the core. Do you know how many of these are left intact? He shakes her head. And all he wants to do is wipe it clean so he can use it to interface with Hexport. All that data, gone. But what do you want? I want to extract the data to make use of it. You see some genuine emotion flicker in her eyes. She sighs. After extracting the data, the core will be unusable. There's a security system that will fry it if the data duplication is attempted. I can delay the security response long enough to copy the data, but after that, she trails off. You've done this before. She looks down. Yes, she meets her eye. This is why I came. Look at this place, Sleeper. She gestures to the crater room, a dark and twisted cabin of long dead tech. How many of these places are left? How many chances do we have to recover anything this old, this fragile? Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow in the ruins. And yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we got here when others like them, like Sennestat and Conway, are descending on this system? But I need this core. But at what cost, Sleeper? She gestures around herself. With this core, we could learn something about ourselves. We could learn our history and how this system was settled. We could better learn the technology we build our lives on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends. She looks at you with pleading eyes. We could see beyond survival towards something else. You have never heard Juni speak like this, and you realize what you have taken for nervousness was actually control. This, the person in front of you defending a decaying data core with the life, is the real Juni. But then you think of Lane, of the price he likely put on your and Seraphine's heads, and of the feed lines, without which leaving Hexport would be almost impossible. Is even a choice? Explain about the feed lines. Juni listens carefully as you tell her about the deal with Karsten, the feed lines he offered you, and that both you and Seraphine are on the run. Then I'll help you. Juni doesn't flinch. We find another way to get those feed lines. Karsten is an idiot. I can hack his security and you can pull them out of there. Or Seraphine looks tough. Maybe he can grab them. He looks desperate. We can do it. We can do something. Why should I trust you? Juni sighs. Let me be honest with you. I don't work for Karsten. He didn't send me. I might have misled you there. I knew he knew where the relic was, and I heard your conversation. I've been keeping an eye on him. She pauses. I know I lied, but I can help you. Let me strip the data from the core, and I promise to help you get the feed lines. You meet your eyes with intensity. It's a lot of information to take in at once. You need a second to think. Okay, let's do it then. Thank you. Juni looks genuinely moved. This is a gift to all of us, Sleeper. I hope you will see it like that. Oh, we'll see how screwed we will be after this then. Juni turns to the data core, quickly gathering one of its loose connections. She takes out her deck and plugs it in, then crosses her legs and places it across them, floating tethered beside the core. Her fingers begin tapping at the keyboard, teasing it out the core's data and whatever Solheim secrets it might contain. As she does, Seraphine enters. He braces himself in the entryway. What's she doing? Juni doesn't seem to notice. Emptying the data. She's doing what? Seraphine jumps to attention, but you put a hand on his shoulder. He eyes you suspiciously. I hope you know what you're doing, Sleeper. He nods towards the core. That's our ticket out of Hexport. Juni will help us. If you say so. We both turn towards Juni, stripping the core of its secrets. A little while later, once the core has been emptied out and its defense mechanism has scorched its seams black, you watch the metallic sphere spinning gently in the room and wonder if you have just made a terrible mistake. Well, we gotta go. We don't have anything to do here, so... Map. Leave. As you arrive into Hexport, Juni speaks up from the back of the cockpit. You're going to have to act fast if you want to take those feed lines. You and Seraphine exchange glances. You're both still getting used to this new Juni. We? Seraphine raises an eyebrow. Only one of us fried the core and stole all its data. He shoots you a look, and for some reason we let you. It was the right call. Was it? Seraphine laughs. Well, I'm reassured. I don't think Karsten is going to take kindly to the idea that we brought someone pretending to work for him on the job and let her have his prize. He shoots Juni a look. Do you even know what she's up to? Juni looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that. I want to repay it. Not to mention that Carsten is probably ripping you off, even if you get enough cryo. What's to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he is no good. I was trying to deal with Carsten to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Seraphine is watching her closely. Even if I do take you at your word, which, given everything, seems a little tough. How do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You're telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me, she pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here, and I don't much feel like hanging around waiting for Carsten to figure out my involvement in all this. I need safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphine sighs. I don't like it, he pauses, but it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? You'll get something. Exactly, Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row, scope the place out, meet me there and we can work out the plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me, we can find a way. We keep it simple, clean. Simple is good. Agreed, Seraphine cuts in. His dark look betrays his concerns. I'll scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Carsten to suspect us. Meet me there in a few and we can finish this setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted. That we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. With that, she slips away down the passage towards the airlock and hexport beyond. You look at Seraphine. I'm saying nothing, Sleeper. He unclips from his seat too. Are this kind of mess you have to go through to get out of the other side? Or it's the kind you never escape? Either way, we are in it now. He leaves the cockpit. You stare at the chaotic lights of Hexport and wonder if anything in the Starward belt ever runs smoothly. Okay, I need food. Let's see, what are we supposed to do here then? Yeah? The sound of fist on keyboard wakes you from the scrolling code on the terminal screen. You turn to see Junie and rear half smile on her face as she floats cross-legged with her deck in her lap. The blue light of the snap-on screen makes her eyes glint with a glittering excitement. Got him. She shoots you a look. Carsten's whole system is mine. You push away from your terminal to glide over to her screen. Running the mapping protocol now, I want to know about every little dusty corner of his network. Is there much to map? He squints at the screen. Really? There is. It's coming up now. Seems Carsten is pretty paranoid. This whole system is iced over with some serious security. He frowns. What are all these layers of? A red pulse flashes across her face, changing her feature as it does. Shit, shit, shit! Her fingers dance across the keyboard. Something is close in port. We need... Another red flash and the screen goes blank. Junie's fist hits the keyboard again, harder. You've been kicked out. She's rapidly shaking her head. There's no way a salvager's shop should have that kind of countermeasure. He looks troubled. That's it? We're locked down? He looks over at you. It seems so. I think our friend Carson is involved in some nasty stuff. He rubs her forehead in thought. Wait. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, her screen flickering commands. A complex node graph assembles on the screen, a mess of interlocking connections. The mapping protocol did enough. She points at the screen. All the security systems are there. She indicates a dark section of broken connections. We didn't get what's here, but it seems like we found some kind of archive. Nothing we want. So what now? Junie pulls a thumbnail drive out of one of her many pockets and slots it into her deck. Time to train my cat. Identify the program. Kind of a shitty outcome. Right. Come on. You watch the code spinning across the screen and notice the addresses from the node map being marked and logged. As you watch, you see that the cat identifies weaknesses, marks nodes with multiple connections and fragile structures. It is making a plan of attack. Junie is going to blast Carson's network apart with raw data. Junie sees the look of recognition in your eyes. And I thought I could show you something new. Looks impressed. I call it a Katzenjammer. Cat for short. Give it a map of a network and an entry port, and it will flood the system with raw data and network nodes. Any tech connected to it gets a killer headache. Ability to take the remnants of Solheim security systems out of commission on old relicts. Squints. I had one too many close calls. What will they do to Caston's shop? Pretty much try anything on our map. Cameras, shutter controls, alarms. It will be pure chaos. She plucks the thumbnail drive out of her deck and hands it over. The cat head sticker on it catching the light as you turn it in your fingers. We have lost access, of course. Junie turns back to her screen, bringing up another node map. But there's an old Solheim port from the original facility just outside Karsten. Got the cat in there, and we should be able to find a back door. What are we waiting for? Nothing but... He looks away. This isn't going to be quiet, she squints. His whole system is going to get the data blasted. Not a subtle hack. When you slot the cat, you get in, grab the felines, and run. Sounds like one hell of a risk, Starfield's voice catching you both by surprise as he slips into the dark and empty unit. Well? Junie pauses, looking between the two of you. It's our best option. Starfield narrows his eyes. And where will you be while we run the gauntlet of scrambled security and make the grab? He looks away. I can monitor how it goes down remotely from here or the ship. Everything gives you a look. You can tell he is finding it hard to trust Junie after everything. I trust you, Junie. He smiles a thin smile. Thanks. He starts to pack up your deck. Well, we'll find somewhere else to work from. Close to the ship but out of your way. Junie shoulders her bag and glides to the door. When you're ready, slot the cat and go. By the time you're back at the ship, I'll be there. Glances down. Don't leave without me. Shoots Seraphine another look and then slips out of the unit. Seraphine watches her go and turns to you. The whole of Hexport is going to hear about this. He shakes his head. You better be ready to go the moment you slot that thing. This is what we have to do. Seems like it. He looks away. I'll be at the ship, preparing the engine. We need to be ready to fit the lines as fast as we possibly can. It meets your eye. Be careful. Don't stop for anyone or anything. Puts a hand on your shoulder and don't even think about looking back. With that, he slips out of the unit, leaving you alone to consider what comes next. Okay, so we got money, but we need some... oh shit. Oh wait, not that one. Where is... How much do we get? 16? We have to do this now. Carson's place is locked up for this cycle. Shut it down, alarm sound, the denizens of factory rows snaking past with deliveries and work orders. You hold your position opposite the shop and take a deep breath, waiting for a sign that this is going to work. You look at the thumbnail drive with its shimmering cat stick sticking out of the old Solheim access port. You imagine the flow of data as the Katzenjammer seeks for an entry point in Carson's system. You think of Junie tucked away near the ship, watching you through the public networks. You think of Seraphine deep in the engine room of the rig. Hurry the hell up, you think. Enough waiting. Then you hear it, a pulsating white noise spluttering and then screaming out of Carson's shop. The shutter scissors up and down, the light pulse and the alarm goggles in confusion. For a moment you're stunned into stillness. People stop in the scene and turn to look as the shutter's motors burn out in cascade of sparks and acrid smoke. No one ever. Oh, come on. Oh, man. Okay. You skirt around the people watching, using them as a perimeter. They are pointing and talking, some of them laughing while others look concerned. You confidently push past them and glide inside without looking back. It takes you a moment to gather yourself in the chaos of the shop. The wall-mounted screens scream out white noise and the flickering lights make it hard to concentrate, but you keep your focus. You scramble over to the feed lines in the window, grabbing the bundle with both arms. They wave wildly in your grasp as you wrench them away and kick off from the counter, gliding back out in the passage. Your arcing glide takes you into the crowd. You steer yourself through a gap in the gathering bodies and kick off hard towards the port. The felines wave wildly, but you grip them hard to your chest and don't look back. Seraphine, better be ready. Your arms ache from clutching the felines, but you don't loosen your grip until you see the entrance to the docking bridge. Sleeper! You almost ignore the call until you realize you recognize the voice. Junie glides out to meet you, her hand on your shoulder, guiding you towards the bridge. I'm with you now. She shoots you a glance. What a show, huh? It was certainly loud. She smiles a little. Wish I could have seen the cat in action. You both glide down the docking bridge, Junie helping you with the trailing feed lines. From what you can tell, news of the chaos in Factory Row has not reached port yet. You feel a flash of excitement as you enter the ship's airlock. This is it. You did it. You try to keep focus, but the elation makes your hands tremble. You take a sharp turn into the central passage of the ship and make your way to the engine room. Feed lines now unwieldy in the cramped space. Seraphine is waiting for you, shaking his head. Looks like we're in business. He lets out a sigh. And on the run from two different people now. He grabs the felines. I'll take it from here. He quickly begins the process of connecting the engine to the subsidiary fuel tank. You watch, catching your breath as he works. How about you make yourself useful rather than just making me nervous, Seraphine says without looking up from his work. Go close the airlock and disconnect the bridge. You and June glance at each other. Both on you. Now, Seraphine calls out. The two of you turn and make your way up the passage, your nerves settling now. You arrive at the airlock and reach for the control panel. Then you see him. Carsten coming up the docking bridge fast. Close. Yes. Your hands dance across the controls, inputting the closer sequence in seconds. The door hastens and closes before Carson even makes it to the end of the bridge. Catch one glimpse of his retreating figure before the docking bridge's shutters scissor closed, blocking him from view. You hear a clunk as the clamps disengage. You're free. Seraphine rushes past, gliding up the passageway from the engine room. Come on, get yourself strapped in. You and Junie silently follow him, your head spinning, your thoughts racing. You slip into your seat as Seraphine punches in the departure sequence. The rig begins to pull away from Hexport, Seraphine's hands on the controls. You close your eyes and feel the force of the thrusters firing. Okay, let's see where we end up at now then. Yeah, that was close though. We had one cycle left. What the? Seraphine's quiet question interrupts your force as the rig cuts across the belt. Hexport is now behind you, drifting out of visual range as glinting lights now use part of the background glow of the belt's thousands of reflective bodies. Whatever trouble you stirred up there, it has surely been left behind. Which is why Seraphine's muttering is worrying you. What's up? Seraphine turns. There's a transmission coming out of Hexport. Some kind of evac order? He turns back to his console. Let me check this. Sleeper. The voice is distorted as it cuts through you. Lane. I know you're there. A hissing pause. That coming from Hexport? Seraphine glances at you confused. Is what coming from Hexport? Give me a second here, Sleeper. I'm getting a wide channel broadcast. He rubs his shoulder nervously. They are warning people to alter their course away from the station. You're slipping away. A squawk of noise, but we can't have that. I take this personally, Sleeper. A sharp intake of breath. After all my investment, all my care expended upon you, this is how you repay me? At least we're heading away, Seraphine interrupts. Maybe it's just a precaution. I see a little something glinting out there, Lane continues. Happy you? Sleeper. You hear Seraphine calling, but you don't move. You don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. You unclip from your restraint, drifting forward towards Seraphine. He gives you a wild look. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. A numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. You reach out towards Seraphine. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphine through you. A tension flickers in his eyes. Here? A hissing silence, then a rumbling blast. All at once the rig screams, systems ceasing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light. Pain, then darkness. Voices echo warmly through your mind. Can't quite make out what is being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain. So you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You're floating, so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing, and yet the moment you realize this, it begins to fade. Something spasms in your fingers, and you flick it away. The sensation crosses the sole of your foot, and you kick your leg. A weight settles itself on your chest, in your chest. You're awake. You open your eyes to light playing across the surface pattern with stained cushioning. You're alone. The voice is replaced by the hum of air cycling, the distant clank of maintenance systems. You're alone, and this is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps and hold you loosely to the berth, suddenly confronted with the last things you remember. An overwhelming numbness, and below it, an insipid, animating force creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into the small habitation room, cushioned and warm, your mind racing. What happened? You search back and remember only Seraphine's shouts, then sudden acceleration of the rig, and then darkness. A chill runs through you. Cold light fills the room, and you float over to the dark square of the window. You see stars, the bright pinpricks of drive trails, and skeletal docking bridges. This is a station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. The entering figure jumps as they see you are awake. You're up. They hesitate in the doorway. Who are you? They laugh nervously. Right, we didn't meet. He glanced back out of the doorway as looking for help. I'm Bliss. They shrugged, not sure what to add. The crew are out. Sorry, they brought you here. Here? Right, they nod slowly. This is my room. They glance around. Not much, I know. You're in my repair bay on the far spindle, if you know where that is. How did I get here? They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You're safe, don't worry. You follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. You move with the ease of someone who is either born in zero-G or has spent most of their life in it. They guide you to an enclosed balcony where heavily scratched, thick acrylic windows look out onto a chaotic-looking wet dock. At the center of the dock is the rig, scratched and worn, but still your ship. It's a reassuring sight. So, what happened? Your ship, Bliss pauses. You were lucky I heard your distress signal. You sense they are holding something back. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laughed to themselves. Well, at least for someone. You were out cold when I got there, and I have been for all the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. I make a habit of doing that. Seraphine's voice makes you spin around. Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Are you okay? He smiles. Don't start fussing over me, sleeper. I'm good. Your eyes fall to Seraphine's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. But it looks better than when you came in. You should have seen. Lisa rapidly stops after Seraphine glares in their direction. Here, Seraphine pulls a few shits out of his pocket. Catch. He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. working in your condition? Seraphim sighs. Please, I'm fine. Please look at you apologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry. I can't work for free. Keeping this place is bad enough. I get it. Seraphim nods. We're just thankful you towed us in. We aren't freeloaders. Bliss looks between the two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. I'm glad you're awake. We were worried. They pat you on the shoulder and glide back down the corridor. With Bliss gone, silence descends on you and Seraphim, both of you unsure what to say. Where's Junie? She's probably on the ship working on that deck of hers. Seraphim looks out at the ship. She's been useful. Not sure we would have got that distress signal out without her. What do you remember? He looks at you with concern. Lane. Seraphim grimaces at the mention of his name. Lane? He shakes his head. Seraphim looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Export is... he clears his throat. It's gone. What do you mean gone? It's gone. Seraphim catches your eye. Dropped off the map. No signals apart from one sent from fleeing ships. He frowns. I don't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you have just been told. You think of the constant activity of the bends, the rumble of Factory Row, Carston, gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we had drifted out of range. They couldn't have seen it go up, but I saw Sleeper. Something exploded, white hot. He rubs his arm, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. The rig was crippled. Engine kept firing, but guidance went offline, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. We managed to get her under control, but not before we started spinning. Our restraints came loose and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile. Felt like being trapped in an afterwash. An afterwash is a dishwasher. He turns back to you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. A flesh and blood human would have been smashed to pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to continue. Could it be to do with us? Seraphim strikes. Your guess is as good as mine, he squints. Would Lane do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. Mitsubi is a gang. They run dark side. They don't go around blowing up stations. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. Both float in silence for a moment. What now? Seraphim laughs weakly. One step at a time. You in a rush? Or the old Bliss for the work they did on the rig, and it isn't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Hello, Diggy. How's it going? Bliss won't hold us hostage, but I don't like to skip out without paying. Even if we could get the rig started up, he rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Beyond that, we need work. You, supplies, and we need to make sure you're okay. Counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs. I haven't heard of anyone coming after us, and if they did, they would have to come through Hexport, or what's left of it. Looks away. Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. Finished the first one earlier today, so now we are continuing with the second one. see what will happen here. The far spindle is way out of Lane's territory anyway. They call this bit of the belt the Wash, and the stations here run differently to Darkside, so for now, you have some freedom. Seraphim sighs, freedom to go broke, starve, and get into even more trouble, that is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. He pats you on the shoulder. Let's look for a contract. Hey, you won't hear any complaints from me. He smiles. We won't be able to fly out for a few cycles yet, but it won't hurt us to have something lined up. He pauses and looks away. Seraphim pauses and stares down. Look, Sleeper. He rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. He looks away. Been with the pain meds, I have been able to scare up. I can fly, that's for sure. He stares obstinately at the rig, but you're going to need some crew if you want to do any serious work. He shoots his lip. I'm sorry. Don't be. Seraphim nods. Thanks, Sleeper. Turns away. I'm going to go take a rest on the rig. Wiped. You look at the rig as it leaves, the warmth and softness of your waking moments, now feeling like a distant memory. Is this what you wanted? Freedom? A chance to work for yourself? Not Lane? Well, here it is, with all the problems and complications you could imagine. And at what cost? Would Lane have wiped out Hexport just to try to end you? I shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Fears cloud your mind. Push them away. Now is not the time for Furious. You take a breath, time to make a plan. Okay, oh what the heck? Glitched dices? Oh man. You have gained some glitch. The current level of glitch is represented by the glitch clock to the right of your dice. You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch you gain will increase your chance of rolling a glitch dice. Each time you roll a glitch dice, you clear 1 level of glitch. The glitch dice has an 80% chance of a negative outcome when used and a 20% chance of a positive outcome. What the heck? That's a pretty nasty one. I wonder if there's a way to fix it. You find June in the airlock, her small collection of things crammed into her bag. I was coming to see you, I promise. She looks nervous. I was waiting for you to wake up, but Seraphim said you were okay, so... That's okay. She smiles. Thank you, Sleeper. I'm glad you're feeling better. While you were out, she pauses, the concern for you obvious. I was digging into the data I pulled from that core. The Solheim one. There's a lot of stuff in there. But it's impossible to read. Either I'm decrypting it wrong or I don't have the right cipher. Whatever it is, I think it's mean the data is important. It takes a breath, or at least it was to Solheim. I need to find someone to help me pick away at it, to crack it open. She looks down. That's why I'm going. We can take you there. No, look. He takes a sharp breath. After what happened with the rig, Blitz saving us, we're all lucky to be alive. He shifts her bag on her shoulder. I think I'm better off alone now. Oh, she suddenly reaches into her bag, producing a handful of shit. Some of the data I sold, just so I could buy myself a ticket to where I need to go. It's not much, but here's your share. She passes you the shits. Thank you. She smiles. You deserve more. She catches herself. I mean, I'm sorry. Good luck, sleeper, and tell Seraphine goodbye for me. What are you chasing? He freezes, caught off guard by your question. She pauses. I know there's value, true value in the data, sleeper. I know it, and I pauses again, unsure of herself. I have a project to continue, one I can't, I won't abandon. Maybe I can tell you about it another time. He smiles weakly, closing up again. Well, he rubs the back of her neck. See you around. You watch her drift away down the docking tunnel into the far spindle, the question still bouncing around your head. Maybe if your paths cross again, you might be able to get some of them answered. Okay. So, this is some bullshit though, man. Holy crap. Okay. A lot to take in here. Okay, that's 4 cycles for that to be fixed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more rounds before the glitches are gone. What the? What do we have here? Risky, danger. Risky, danger. There's risky. Oh. Okay, so that's a lot of people lives. Okay, let's see what this is. Spinning core spinning is where crews and freelance makes travels rest and resupply, and business gets done. So this is where we can buy probably supplies and fuel down in this area. Pinning docks are vast and filled with freight holders and stevedores. Is not an easy place to wander, so this is probably where we can make some money. So, wonder where there will be where we can. Let's see here. So, if I use one of these now, so this is like a massive gamble to use these. I'm gonna try one. Okay. Good, we got... Okay. Got a positive outcome with a glitch dice. Not bad. Got that back. Have anything really to do with this one? I wonder if there's gonna be a place where so we can repair our dice. Let's finish this one. Okay. We can do a shift to make some scrap. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We need to pump stuff. Yeah, I can't use this one because it's endure and we get negative on that one. We'll do this. Come on, 20%. I believe in you. Huh? Worked. I'm even surprised. As you glide through the pinnacle docks, you hear shouting echoing down the corridor. Tenderly we change direction, your eyes fixed ahead as the passage widens out into a large bay. Others rush past you, heading towards the commotion. Your eyes are drawn by the bay's vast viewing window, which is currently being spattered with glittering shards of ice. In front of it, a dock worker is shouting to anyone who will listen. Spacers, workers of the far spindle, we need your urgent assistance. The water carrier Springtide has suffered heavy damage in its transfer from Wellspring. He takes a breath. All able hands, we need you to help secure the cargo. Without this water, the far spindle will struggle to support you. He looks desperately at the crowd. Please, any who are able to help, please make yourself known. Behind him, a corona of ice ejects from one of the tanks, drawing a pale halo around the ship. A handful of experienced-looking spaces push through the crowd towards the front, and dockworkers start to direct them to the nearby bridges. You watch the scene unfold, hesitant in the face of making someone else's problem your own. Okay. Don't really have. Damn it. Why can't I use a push now? 3 is a little bit of risky move, but what the hell? Come on. Yeah, we got 1 at least. Okay, 2 is too low. Stop 2 at English shift. Now we won't be able to do that. Make us 3 points. Okay. Let's do this. Didn't get any points towards it, but okay. So how this works, if you wonder a little bit, it's like you have like these main things where I have to use the dices and fill this one up. And as you fill it up, it unlocks parts in that area. Sometimes you have to fill it all the way up to unlock it. Sometimes it unlocks parts of. If you fill it up a little bit, like half, say, it unlocks one thing, and then when you unlock the whole thing, you can unlock one more thing, so to say, in that area. So that's kind of what you do. Signal station. We're gonna try and help them with this, and this one will fail in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cycles. We have 6 cycles to fix this leak up here. Okay, we need to end the cycle. We have nothing more to do. You awake to the sound of blaring proximity alarms. You quickly unstrap from your bunk and dizzily glance around. Lane? Bounty hunters? You kick off and glide to the door. As you do, Bliss pops their head around the corner. Sorry. They look a little sheepish. In all honesty, it's not my fault. The wiring is all backward. It takes you a moment to understand what's happening. You steady yourself against the doorframe. Seriously, Bliss? Bliss looks down. I said sorry, I'm handling it, they mumble. It takes you a while to get ready and drift down to the mess to see what's happening. By then, Bliss has turned off the alarms. You find them unspooling wires from a hatch you had never previously noticed in the mess's ceiling. Sorry again, sleeper. Her voice comes through the ceiling panels, muffled and dull. You settle at the stool, neatly tucking your legs behind the crossbar. How are the repairs coming? Bliss spins deftly, hooking the legs into the open ceiling so that from your perspective, they are hanging upside down. Almost done, if you can believe it. Their messy hair floats around their head. A couple of cycles worth of diagnostics and I'll be happy enough to release her back to you. The yawning Seraphim drifts in. He looks between the two of you, amused. What are you both doing up so early? You and Bliss exchange amused looks. What? Seraphim asks. You didn't hear the alarm? He shrugs. Heavy sleeper. He drifts over to the mess's cupboards to hunt for some breakfast. You turn back to Bliss, but they have disappeared back into the ceiling panels. Before long, the mess is filled with the shrill screech of a power tool. Seraphim looks totally unaffected and hooks himself onto a stool, lazily sucking at a ration pouch while he taps away at his slate. The screech finally stops. After a while, you kick him off from his stool. Time to head out. Bliss rushes after you, stopping you in the passageway before you can leave. I have something I want to show you. Okay. Bliss leads you off the main corridor into a corner of the ship you don't remember visiting before. You come into a room with low, sloped ceilings, a single round window illuminating some neat tool storage and a workbench set into the wall. Look, Bliss begins. I'm no specialist, but I'm a quick learner and good at repairs. He smiled. And I think you have need of me. He glanced at you, at a tear in the thick vinyl skin of your arm. Can I take a look? Okay. They smile and lead you towards the workbench. They turn your arm, looking at the tear from all angles. You reach over to the workbench and take a small sealing gun from the rack. You look at the setup. It's basic, but it looks clean and well organized. Welcome back, Diggly. You gently close the tear with sealant, pressing the edges together so it closes up neatly. After they are done, they release your arm and they can barely see the scar. Bliss admires their work. See? They smile. I know it's more serious than a tear. Bliss folds their arms, but I can handle it. You need repairs? Bring me some components to work with. Best quality you can find. The better the components, the easier they will integrate with your system. Bliss leans on the workbench. I'll do my best to keep you running. Why help me? You're a guest in my bay and I can't have my guests' bodies collapsing now, can I? Plus, I think it benefits me if you think of me as indispensable. Bliss smiles. I should get back to fixing the ship. They leave you in the workshop among the simple tools, considering the particular qualities of your new friend. Okay, so we have something. Okay, dice repair is now available. Visit the rig. Okay, cool. You can repair your dice at the rig workshop. You can only repair dice which are fully broken. Repairs require either scrap components or rare components. The better components you use, the less glitches you will suffer. You cannot repair dice during a contract. Okay. So they have to be fully broken. Okay. So let's see, what do we have down here? Yeah. Supposed to help with this one. Oh, come on now. Okay, can't do anything more there. Okay. can do one more. Trying to impress Nimba. And that one failed. Okay. Cycle. What we can do right now. You jerk suddenly awake. A fragment is lodged in your mind, a shard of sound, of signal, a tone. It resonates like tinnitus, obviously internal, inescapable. You look down to see your hands blurred, your fingers dancing as you were typing. Suddenly. Your fingers flap like caught birds. They control. It takes all your focus to settle them. You force yourself back into them, a sensation like squeezing on a tight pair of gloves. Flex your hands a little to feel them, test them. What was that? You take a deep breath to calm yourself, but as you do, you're reminded that you don't need to breathe. It's a claustrophobic sensation that you cannot shake. Get up, push off the wall, pull on your clothes, anything to escape the dreams that hover there at the back of your mind. Seraphim drifts in casually, heading to his bunk to grab something. Can't shake the strange sensation that he has just drifted into your mind. He shoots you a glance. I said, "Are you okay?" He gives you a concerned look. "You look terrible." "Not really." You mumble a response. "You need to talk to me, sleeper." Seraphim gives you a look. He sighs. "I know something happened back when we were leaving Hexport." "What do you mean?" "I saw it, sleeper. I saw something change in your eyes." He pauses, looking for the right way to explain. "They were cold. Fixed. I've never seen that before." He looks away. "Back when we first met, I knew at once you were human. I knew because of your eyes. I had never met a sleeper before, but I knew immediately that you were no machine. It was obvious. But then, on the rig," he shivers, "I couldn't see that anymore." "I don't know what happened." "What did it feel like?" He gives you a curious look. Okay, jump past. You close your eyes and recall the moment. You remember Lane's voice, the rig hot and close, the numbness. Then you see it glittering in the non-space of your mind. Thin and bright, like spider silk. A thread. "Sleeper?" Seraphim's voice interrupts your thoughts. You open your eyes to his irritated face. "Are you even listening?" "We need to get you checked up. We need to know what's happening." Seraphim gives you a stubborn stare. "This isn't just about you." "But where?" "I've been asking around." Seraphim's face is set with determination now. "There's another station near this one. Flotsam." That's a popular name for many to use, Flotsam, man. It's in several games this place is called Flotsam. It's a mess, an accumulation of wrecks and docked ships, but it also houses some of the best artificers in the wash. We should go there as soon as the rig is ready. I'll think about it. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for me. Seraphim shakes his head. Please. Look, he pauses. I know I don't know what it is like to be a sleeper. I understand there are things you can't tell me, can't show me, but I don't know how fear can keep you from doing what you need to do. I'm not going to nag you about it, he sighs, but it needs to be done. He passes by you as he leaves the bunk, squeezing your shoulders as he does, leaving you to your thoughts. You finish getting dressed, feeling your body's strangeness, even though you wish you didn't. At the very least, you think you need to find someone who can stop you falling apart. Maybe Flotsam is not such a bad idea. You push the thought to the back of your mind. There's a cycle ahead, and the rig isn't ready. When it is, then you'll see. Okay. Gonna work on fixing this thing here. Yeah, and I can't use this one over here because, as you see, I don't have endure. So if I put something in here, I get like -2 on my dice. That's why I'm just putting stuff in this one over here. Okay, 4 should play. Maybe. Come on now, game. Ah. Okay, we're gonna have to wait one more round for that one. We got energy, but I didn't get any. God damn it. A little bit of a drag this part. Not locked into what I can do. As you drift lazily down through the ship's mess, you hear raised voices. You steel yourself for a moment at the entrance and slip inside. Terrafin sits hooked onto his usual stool, his slate glowing beside him. He is shaking his head as you enter. Bliss, meanwhile, is floating freely and gesticulating sharply as they explain something important. I don't see why not, Bliss shouts at the air. It's not like you have an alternative. We can get the cryo. It will take time, but we can get it. That was the deal. Terrafin speaks calmly, trying to say bills. Sleeper. Bliss spots you entering and then turns to Seraphine. Let's see what Sleeper thinks about it. About what? They both fall silent for a moment. Seraphine sighs. The rig's ready, Sleeper. Bliss gestures around the mess. I fixed it. Hell, I've improved it. She's purring thanks to me. Now, wouldn't you say, having done such an incredible job, I deserve to be paid properly for my work? A calculated look across the Sarah's face. A refit and retune like this would typically cost my clients hundreds of cryo, even if I was feeling charitable. Terrafin sighs loudly. He knows where this is going. See, I can make you pay, and maybe you could even scrape the cryo up, but not without taking a contract and taking this ship off station, leaving me in the lurch. We wouldn't do that. Seraphine starts, but Bliss holds up a hand to shush him. I have a proposition, one that clears the depth completely. They pause. I will turn around the open sign on this little bay of mine and join up with you. You keep me in work and give me my split and give me transit to wherever you are headed. I'll even keep this rig of yours working for free. They shrug. What could be better than that? Us paying and being on our way with no hangers on. Seraphine folds his arms and looks at you. Tell him, Sleeper. Actually, we could use their help. Bliss grins at Seraphine. See? Sleeper gets it. You can use my help. I'm an excellent engineer, a tidy shipmate, and a half-decent chef. I'm done with Far Spindle. I'm done taking not enough jobs for not enough cryo on a station where I know nobody. They pause satisfied. You're welcome. Seraphine holds up his hands. Look, we appreciate it, but we are on the run, Bliss. Trust me, you're better off here. He gives them a serious look. Even telling you this could put you in danger. Bliss pauses, then they start laughing. On the run? They shake their heads, smiling. You expect me to be scared off by that goofy shit? Well, it's true. Bliss just shrugs. This system is at war. The belt is spiraling into a crisis. Everyone's got something. Now you were at Hexport. Seraphine looks at them, open-mouthed, searching for a retort. What happened there? Who's to say it won't happen here? I'm not sitting around watching this all play out any longer. They take a deep breath. Something has to give. Bliss turns to Seraphine. Look, you've done your due diligence or whatever. You're on the run. I've been warned. I accept the risk. That's it. At the end of the day, your ship is clamped into my bay. So unless you know my encryption protocols, there's not much left to discuss. Seraphine shakes his head, a small smile crossing his face. You got us there. He looks at you and then at Bliss. Looks like we gained a crewmate. He unhooks from his stool. We are moving to the engine room. He drifts off towards the bunks to gather his things. You and Bliss exchange a nervous look. Reaper, welcome aboard. Bliss smiles and gives you a half-hearted mock salute. You Bliss in the galley and head for the cockpit. The rig is ready to fly again, but the question is, where to take it next? So let's see on the map. You unlock the belt map. Go to the map and press the belt button to travel to other hubs and discover new parts of the Starward belt. Okay. Holy crap. We need 6 fuel for that, and probably no supplies needed. Okay. So we needed what? A has-nav to fly through debris. Okay, makes somewhat sense. And the Solheim checkpoint. Well, there's a lot to fly to. Let's see if we can oops. Help fixing this now. So, let's fix this one. Mine drive complete, +1 upgrade. Okay. Upgrade point. You watch from the docking bay's viewing window at the crumpled, vast hull of the Springtide is finally welded shut by a score of bright torches flickering against its side. Malik, huh? Everywhere I look, I see a crisis. A voice comes from beside you, and you turn to see a man floating there, watching the repair work. You don't recognize him. I saw you out there, helping the crew. He turns to you with a serious look. Well, they needed it. You aren't wrong. He pauses, watching you carefully. I haven't seen you on the spindle before. What, if I may ask, is your business here? I'm running a crew. He nods. I see. Springtide is my ship. His face remains impassive. At least I'm her captain. I do not own her. The Lotic Syndicate, my employer, was the one to put her into service. Glad to meet you. He bows his head gently. Yeah, my thanks for assisting with the repairs. We were caught by some autonomous convoy munitions. Looks out at his ship. The well-string run is getting more dangerous every cycle. And after Hexport, he pauses. I do not expect things to improve. We both quiet for a moment, the loss of the station still inspiring silence in anyone who mentions it. Tell me, Malik meets your eye. As a sleeper, do you feel you have advantages over others? Or does your particular condition provide only weaknesses? Well, the downside with this also... goddamn, this is like I need to answer both of these. You go with advantages, of course. You know, certainly you show this with your work on the Springtide. You gestures towards the Springtide. Your work on my ship only evidences your abilities. Far outperform even my own crew. He looks to you, hanging his head in defiance. In conditions that are usually deadly. Sadly, despite even your good work, our losses have been great, and the administration at the Far Spindle are not happy. We're to be impounded here until the Atlantic Syndicate fulfills the agreed water freight. He frowns at the crumbled looking ship. This war continues, the pressures develop. What will you do? This is where you are needed, Sleeper. Malik folds his arm. My crew tells me you have a ship. You have workers. This is what I need. As we fled from the convoy attack, our navigator registered something of great interest. A water-rich asteroid, one I believe is previously unknown to the syndicates. He comes a little closer. For now, I have sworn him to secrecy, as I must you. But this asteroid could be surveyed, its value confirmed. It would more than make up for the shortfall of the Springtide. He pauses thoughtfully. Then continue. I want you to survey the asteroid for me. It's a simple enough job, but its location so close to the edge of the wash is problematic. However, you have shown yourself to be very competent. If you're careful, there is no reason you should have problems with Conway, or any other hostile party for that matter. Hostile party? Murray shrugs. The wash is where the orbits of the inner system and Starward Belt conspire to bring vessels, objects, and all kinds of wanderers together. It's a territory of opportunists. I will of course reimburse you with a proportion of the fee the Far Spindle administration are withholding from me. 250 cryo is my offer. How will your employer feel about that? The Atlantic Syndicate only cares that its water is delivered and its fees paid. I am free to make sure this happens in a timely and efficient manner, as I see fit. Malik passes you a thumbnail drive. Here are details on the test I need you to run for the survey. A sample core of ice from deep within the asteroid should give you enough material to work with. You notice a member of the Springtide's crew waiting quietly at a distance, and Malik nods to them discreetly. This is a delicate matter, Sleeper. Survey the rock and on your return broadcast the results to my personal terminal. The frequency is in that data. He pauses, meeting your eye. The results go to me, only to me. Then, once the matter is resolved, you will be paid. I am needed, he nods to the crew member, but I expect you have all you need. He pauses. I have enjoyed watching your work, Sleeper. Impress me again. And with that, he bows a little and drifts away to meet his crew member. After watching him go, you turn back to the Springtide. Still impressive despite being scarred with curls of ice and shiny with fresh wells. Imagine any captain of a ship like that has been through a lot to get where they are. That makes them a valuable ally or a dangerous adversary, depending on where you are. You hope with Malik you can find your way to being the former. Okay, so now we got a contract. And we need free fuel, and we're gonna need full of supplies. Well, I haven't unlocked that here on the station yet, so that's the next thing we need to unlock here, and it's down here. Okay, can't use the other ones. We are gonna keep this. I'm trying to get that one with the low one. I wonder what that means though. If I have to leave before that is done, or we are about to see what happens. It is that one, right? What the heck am I doing that one? God damn it, I did the wrong one before. It's this one I need to do. And should finish it. The far spinner lives up to its name, its tall stature making it a real effort to travel from end to end. The local solution to this problem are the transit tunnels, massive tubes bolted onto the outside of the spindle that allow for rapid passage from bottom to top. As you find yourself in one of these cavernous passages, bulky cargo haulers are rushing by. You start to wonder if braving them is worth the effort. Back up! The shout rattles down the bare transit corridor like a gunshot and is rapidly followed by a crunching impact. You spin back, pushing yourself against the side of the wide cylindrical passage. As you do, a hauler glides past, sending a rippling wave of air across you in its wake. When the roar subsides, you hear a string of expletives coming from nearby. A spiky-looking figure, clutching some oddly shaped open-frame object, gestures wildly at the vehicle as it glides away. Dickhead! She spits an impressive glob of saliva down the tunnel and it spirals in 0G. She turns to you in her anger. You see that? Tried to slam me into the wall. Total dickhead. She nods firmly. No shit. Haulers hate us. She sniffs and looks you up and down. Not supposed to be in the transit system without the vehicle. She squints. Not like I care, but maybe you do. Well, what about you? She shakes the open frame in her hand. What does this look like to you? She rolls one of her shoulders, stretching it out. You're new here, right? Is it that obvious? She shrugs sympathetically. Nothing to be ashamed of. Let me give you a tip. She begins checking her open frame vehicle, tightening bolts and untangling pipes. Avoid the haulers. Dickheads, the lot of them, especially the water haulers, think they're better than anyone. What? They like to call people dickheads in this game. Just like in the first one. Don't mess with the stevedores, though. They're good people. They're treated like shit by everyone else, just like us. He rapidly plugs and unplugs a series of connectors. They'll show you the shortcuts. She looks up, and never ever getting in spindle jack's way. She smiles, spinning the vehicle in her hand. Thanks. He nods. Alright then. He pauses, considering something. Then suddenly she reaches into one of her many pockets and pulls out a small transparent rectangle punched with holes. Text glints within it, reading Cadet. Stripline Express. You take it. Cadet, she flexes proudly. That's me. Stripline is my outfit. Kamal's a dispatcher. Small outfit, but we punch above our weight. Dispatch is here in the spindle's core, but I run the transit tunnels up and down the spindle 10 times a cycle. You need anything moving on the spindle? Data, tech, messages too hot for the hardline? Come find me. You're a courier? Got it in one. She kicks off the wall and mounts her bike, triggering a small burst of compressed air to keep herself steady in the transit passage. You hear a buzz of distorted speech from what you assume is her dispatcher. Cadet angles her head to her communicator and mutters back into it. Gotta hop, sleeper. She looks over at you and something flickers in her eyes. An idea? Or perhaps just a realization. You might be able to help me with something. Package that's been bothering me. She squints down the passage. Come to the office at Stripline in a few cycles and I'll show you. Sure. You call it a favor on account of me saving you from being flattened by a hauler. She winks. Now you better get out of here before another hauler tries to squish you. You step back as she twists the handlebars and a burst of air sends her flying down the transit corridor at an unsettling speed. You watch her go, slightly caught off guard by her final remarks. What would the courier need you for? You turn the idea over in your head as you find a way out of the transit corridor, back to the safety of the main concourse. Okay. So let's see. Here we go. So, we need food. We need fuel. Can't do that one. We could do this one though. Some scrap. Money. Then we're gonna go here because we still need to get this one. There we go. Sleeper, Nemba wants to see you. You nod to the other volunteers as you wipe off your hands and clip your cutlery to the magnetic rack. You drift out of the improvised canteen on your way to the kitchen in the back. It was a busy shift, and each shift seems busier than the last. It makes sense, of course. You've seen the steady flow of refugees arriving from the inner system, and most of them, with barely a shit to the name, end up in the underhang. I like that for the name, shit, or if one should pronounce it, kits. I say shit. As you cross into the kitchen, you can still hear the rumble of the refugees' conversations through the hatch. The other chef leads you past the rehydrators and the hand-built centrifugal oven to a small office unit at the back of the kitchen. They knock on the door for you, then glide away to finish their own meal, leaving you to wait by it. You look around the small but carefully arranged kitchen as you wait, your shifts here having left you familiar with a mix of improvised and salvaged equipment, some of which you had never seen before you came here. Come in, sleeper. Nemba is perched at a desk, uplit by a small transparent terminal screen, reading glasses perched on the end of his nose. You have seen Nemba before, but not as much as you had imagined you would while working at a place called Nemba's Kitchen. Even though there isn't a proper sign out front, everyone in the underhang knows its name. The man himself is more of a mystery. Apart from the occasional barked order in the busy kitchen, he is a little more than a blur to you. Why do you work here? He barely looks up from his terminal screen, the scrolling text reflecting his lenses. Food is good. Uh-huh. Nemba stops scrolling his screen and looks over his glasses at you. You do well here, sleeper. You are fast, precise. You're doing good work. He goes back to scrolling. Thanks. Nemba lifts a hand in response. That's my worry, sleeper. Good work is like you. They move on fast. He leans back and looks at you. 10 cycles, maybe more, maybe less, and then they're gone. And the team? The team gets used to having them here, gets used to working at that pace. And suddenly, they have to work differently. They have to pick up the slack, change jobs, change stations, and a few of them think, well, maybe it's time I moved on too. But what I have found is good workers are trouble, especially those who come and go like you. He pauses watching you. Let him speak. This place, it runs on consistency, sleeper. Those who turn up every cycle, good or bad, they get the people fed. Takes off his reading glasses, inspecting them for smudges. Let's be honest, that ain't you. So let's cut to it. I can't use you in the kitchen anymore. You're done, he shrugs. Sorry. But this place also runs on all those machines out there. And the suppliers I can rope in, the donations. Feeding refugees from the inner system is logistics as much as it is chefing. He shakes his head, which is why I'm cooped up in the back. Maybe you're gone, I'll never see you again. Okay, thanks for coming. We will soldier on without you. But maybe you still want to be useful. Maybe I heard you have a ship. He smiles at you. Yeah, maybe I heard you chatting. Maybe I have a little something held up in a place only a ship like yours can reach. I negotiated the purchase of some valuable inner system spores from a group that came from there. But they somehow ended up at a depot in Greenbelt. Nemba sighs. So if you head to Greenbelt and you find a delivery and you bring it back? Nemba looks at you pointedly. That would be helping. That would be the kind of helping a good worker, even an inconsistent worker might be able to offer me. Nemba squints at you. Seems like the kind of thing that someone genuine, someone who wants to help for real might do, don't you think? Doesn't wait for your reply, but it also seems like the kind of thing that might sit on a list of priorities for so long it disappears and never gets done. I've seen that happen too. I guess we'll find out which it is. He deftly places his reading glasses back on his face and continues to scroll the screen on his terminal. You know the way out, sleeper. You turn in the doorway, slightly taken aback, and it slides shut behind you. Glad out through the kitchen, through the improvised canteen and the people eating and chatting there, and into the cold underhang passageway beyond. All the time considering what you might do next and recalling that persuasive glint in Nemba's eyes. But we can, okay, so we need spores there now. Okay. So we're here and we have this. I can only have can't I use let's go and see what we can do. What time is it, by the way? Oh. The asteroid looms large in the cockpit's glass. Light glints off the sheets of surface ice, the same glint that must have caught Malik's attention when he was fleeing the Conway countermeasures that damaged the springtide. There's been no sign of Conway drones or mines, but that hasn't stopped Seraphine being cautious in his approach. You have to admit you found yourself searching the black void of space for a telltale blinking red beacon too. We're close enough to jump down to the surface. Seraphine locks down the engines. I don't see anything on the scope, but I'll keep her warm just in case. Thanks. He nods without looking up from the controls. You unclip from your seat and kick off towards the airlock. The scale of the asteroid is troubling. But Seraphine assured you on the journey here that the surveying would be easy enough. Take a sample from the deep ice for testing. The problem, he said, is getting down that deep. You'll have to cut away at the ice, dig yourself a hole, and doing so will create fractures in the shelf. The asteroid may be big, but it's held together with only a weak gravitational force. The more the ice is cracked away, the less there is for the far spinner to harvest, something you doubt Malik would be happy about. You push the worry to the back of your mind and get suited up. Something in your mind? Bliss drifts up beside you and pulls a suit from the rack. Just hope we don't mess up. Me too, Bliss shrugged. I don't want to jinx it, but it seems simple enough. Can't say a rock, or in this case ice cutting, is my usual strength, but it's gotta be simpler than slicing a hull without touching any of the internals. Bliss zips up their suit. You'll be fine. Bliss's reassurance that they don't have any experience with the job you're about to do doesn't exactly calm your worries, but their nonchalant attitude helps. Especially when you consider the volume of ice you're about to start cutting into. Cheer up! Bliss punches you on the arm as you get into the airlock. Might never happen. The lock cycles and you find yourself staring out at the glinting surface of the asteroid. 1 second, Sleeper, Seraphine's voice comes over the comms. I'm seeing something here. Some kind of a man-made shaft on the far side of the asteroid. Might be worth a look, but remember, the survey is our priority. It comes first. We can almost hear his eyes roll through the comms link. Don't get distracted. You squint at the rock and spot a dark recess just over the curve of the asteroid. That would be the distraction then. You refocus on the ice sheet. Time to get started.